Brendan Allen gets a TKO over one of the most popular, one of the fastest scoring superstars in the UFC, Ryder, after he was unable to continue. That is the craziest headline of 2026.
Wait. So he wasn't able to continue, but he won.
No, so the Ryder is number 4 ranked going in the fight. Allen's number 9. They're in the round 4. You could see he's just smothering him with the ground game. Luke, you can kind of break this down when I'm done. And then when they go back to their stool, first of all, you could see something's wrong with Ryder. He can't get up. This is like his 4th fight of the year, I think. He's been cutting weight like a madman. But you could just see how exhausted he is. His coaches come over, but that's when the ref comes over and tells him, hey, if you can't get to your stool, I got to call the fight. Right when he sits down, this is when the ref tells him, can you finish the fight? And you could hear it. And his coaches are asking him, are you okay? And the doctor comes over and the coach says, can you continue? And he says, I'm not good. You can see him shaking his head. And that's when his coach calls it and throws in the white towel.
Robbie threw in the towel?
Right here.
Robbie stopped it.
Robbie Lawler?
Yeah, Robbie's...
And this is when they stop the fight. And Herzog calls it off. That is crazy.
Why? What was... Why though? What was so bad about that fight?
What do you think?
I heard he had a really tough weight cut from Cheeto and the guys. So I mean that could definitely play a role in those later rounds. How you doing? But like, what it comes down to, man, wrestling. These guys got to learn how to wrestle. He was losing top position over and over again, and he was so committed to grappling. You're not going to win at the top level without being able to wrestle these days. I mean, that's why Khamzat is so good, because he's just so good at positional wrestling. You know, like you rely on jiu-jitsu, and jiu-jitsu doesn't always work, and then you get tired and you fall off. It's like position of wrestling wins fights. And this is not like the old school days where like jiu-jitsu was new and no one knew it, and the guys would win and get arm bars. Like everyone's so versed, and you're not going to get by without having to wrestle, like hard-nosed wrestling. That's how you maintain position.
So Reiner to Ryder. He is a 35-year-old, 6'4", and he's a black belt in judo, black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he's from the Netherlands. And like Luke's talking about,
He's a big guy.
He's a big dude.
He's a big guy. It's a lot of weight to cut. And you're fighting earlier in the day too.
What weight class though?
You're fighting in Canada, a place you're not used to. Like when I fought you well in Australia,
this was middleweight.
We fought in the middle. Like we fought in the middle of the day, and so you lose like a whole portion of your recovery time as well. You're not fighting at 12.
That's an amazing point.
You're not fighting at 12 o'clock at midnight. I was fighting at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, so I'm losing all this recovery time. And I was like, I just couldn't even like put it in my head like why I wasn't hitting hard, and I didn't really even think about like pulling out. I was tripping out because I was like my power just wasn't there. My body wasn't recovered.
Luke, how important was your recovery time after cutting weight and then going into the fight day? Because people don't realize there's a ceremonial weigh-in, but after you actually officially weigh in, then you could start putting on some food, right?
Yeah. No, there's a ceremony. Like most people now, you weigh in the morning. Back in the day, you used to have to weigh in at the public weigh-ins. You have to keep weight, but now you weigh in the morning. But for my fight in Australia, they made us. It was their first fight in Perth, and so they made us stay on weight until the public weigh-ins. So I lost a lot of other recovery time the day before, and didn't get the recovery time the day after.
Rampage, how was it in Pride? Did you have to weigh in and then wait a day and then do a ceremonial weigh-in?
Wait a day, no. Like, so I'm talking. So nowadays we weigh in the morning, first thing at 9 a.m. Right? That's what we do. But then, and then you would go to the public weigh-in at 4 p.m. Mm-hmm. But back in the day, you would have to maintain weight until 4 p.m.
So wait like half a day. Yeah. You would have to maintain that weight for like half a day.
Yeah. So you would make weight in the morning, and then you'd have to go through medicals, all this transitioning, and like they would put you through multiple hours of carting you off and putting you at the weigh-ins.
Plus press.
You know the crazy thing about Pride is when I first went there, there was no weight classes. And so
there's no drug testing.
No drug testing with no weight class.
No drug testing, no weight class.
Wait.
Pride.
But you couldn't smoke weed because you they would put you in jail.
Yeah.
Or they'd fire you. You could do all the steroids you want.
Yeah, those are the drugs they test you for. They piss test us all the time. But there was no weigh-in, so but then they did start weighing us in. Like when I fought Sakuraba, they made me cut like 27. They wanted me to cut 30 pounds, but they asked me to do it the day of the fight. I said, no, I'm not fighting.
It goes back to that favoritism, right?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Sakuraba's.
But when we fought, we just weighed in and like in a room, and they just took our weight. It was I don't remember it ever being anything like official, but that was in the beginning, right? Later on, I don't remember like no big weigh-in ceremony. Like when I fought Kevin Randleman, he didn't want to cut weight, he didn't make weight, and they had to come talk to him like, hey, Kevin Randleman's not going to make weight. I'm like, fuck, how much he weigh? He was like 225. Like, you got like, no, I don't give a fuck, let's fight. He didn't even, like it was no big deal. Like you fought.
Yeah.